well, I'm God, you know, and I just go like this, and everything comes to life. I really just play, and I think of it as getting out my toys and playing. Basically, everybody uses tools to make art, whether they be words or paint or pliers. Well, basically, you look at a piece like this, take a piece like that, and I bought this because it's an interesting looking shape. You can see how it would brace together. You look at it and you sort of think of various shapes it makes. It could make a sort of beaked head like that, or it could be an abstract shape. It could be a sort of stalk, really. It's got almost a, or not a stalk, what's the creature? Pelican, with this wonderful beak. These two pieces seem to me to make the beginning of an idea that the head would be something like an owl looking round. And then once I got the shape right, I'd mark it all up with chalk, and then I would take it along to the workshop where I work and weld it together into a finished creature. These tools would not be kept, really. They might be kept, but they're very likely to be thrown away. So in some ways, I'm preserving them. I'm not really destroying, but rather maybe creating and using also the beauty of the tools to make something out of this lovely engineering. What do you think of the Helicopterix? That's my new one, and it's made out of these are plough moldboards. The Helicopterix was made from a digger bucket and from some plough moldboards, which is what people would call ploughshares. I made them into the Helicopterix, which is quite a large bird, and I wanted to use a colour that would give people the maybe subconscious association with agricultural machinery, that while it is a bluebird Helicopterix, it is also an agricultural machine. Inevitably, what the meaning of my soul becomes clear in my work. I don't set out thinking I want to make people really sad or really happy, or, you know, I don't think I want to impress them with anything politically or culturally at all. But if I know a good story, that story somehow becomes apparent in my work. I had a terrible time. My true love left and there wasn't any money, and the house got flooded by the river outside, and I lost a lot. And I think sometimes that adversity can be the most wonderful teacher, because there's an energy in sorrow, there's an energy in grief, which is very, very strong. Perhaps I wouldn't have had the courage to just go and put on great big exhibitions all over the place with no training and no skills of any kind, and just go and do it, if it hadn't been for having been so cast down by life. I mean, who knows what would have happened if he hadn't left. Whether I would ever have done this, I don't know. I create them. I mean, like Pinocchio and his father. there's a sort of relationship there with the things that you make, unless you're ashamed of them, which I'm not yet. But there's an affection, and I wouldn't let them go out of my hands if I weren't pleased with them. I think that I always had a fear of dying, because I'd have to go to the gates and they'd say, well, what have you done? And I'd say, well, I got drunk 100 times. And they'd say, well, it's not good enough. And I think now I feel very happy because I made some things that people liked, and that you want people to understand your vision or hear your voice, as long as you think your voice is worth hearing.